Alright, Astro Van and GMC Safari owners, if you have a van and it's started running really rough, like when you're driving on the freeway, you can feel the engine hesitating and shaking, and then in extreme cases, when you slow down and are going at cruising speeds, it will stall, it doesn't want to idle, or it'll idle if you keep your foot on the gas, but otherwise it's really rough and shaky. The cause for that, I've found, at least on this van, is a stuck EGR valve. Now we're looking at the engine. I've removed the engine compartment cover. If you don't know how to do that, you can watch my other video on that. So if we look right behind the cap here, with all the spark plug wires connected to it, there's a thing, a big cylinder connected to the intake manifold with a couple of bolts on it. That's the EGR valve, exhaust gas recirculation valve. To get at it, there's a bolt on this side and another bolt on that side. You can reach both of them with a long socket. I put a swivel on the end of mine to give me a little wiggle room. But so that can go just above the spark plug wires, through there to get at the first one, and then to get at the second one, you go under the distributor cap with it and sort of snake it to the bolt right there. So I'm going to pop this off. Usually I remove the distributor cap also to give myself just a little extra room to get the thing out, trying not to get any crud that falls off of this into the distributor cap. And if you're careful, you can reuse the gasket. It has a really super thick cardboard gasket with sort of shiny aluminum on the sides of it, and I've done this, geez, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and reused the gasket. It seems to go bad every couple of years, and rather than replace it, I just clean it off, because I think if I replaced it, the new one would get dirty and the same thing would happen. So we'll take it off and we'll take a look at it. Alright, I have removed the EGR valve from the hole, removed the distributor cap to get at it, and then it's plugged in by one wire connector. You just loosen up the restraining clip, pop it loose, and take a look at what you have. Now what we're concerned with is this bottom hole right there, which is the valve. That thing opens and closes. The EGR, this whole thing is an electric motor that opens and closes that valve. Sometimes that valve will get stuck either wide open or a little bit open. So I'm just going to clean it out as best I can. I'm going to use some WD-40, which is pretty harmless, and then stick an Allen wrench in it and sort of open and close it manually. Just fill up this hole with WD-40. That hole connects to the other hole, and try to work it loose. The gasket still looks pretty good. It's shiny, and as long as you torque it down properly, it'll last a long time, and you can remove the thing and put it back on without having to buy a new gasket. Alright, if we take a look at the valve right here, try opening and closing it just to see the action on it, you can see this one gets stuck open. It shouldn't do that. So we're just going to soak it with some WD-40, spin it around a little bit, open it and close it until it opens and closes freely, and then put it back in. Hopefully that'll fix the way my van is running. I'm trying to pass emissions once again, but it's getting more difficult to do every year. And if it's stuck wide open for long periods of time, your van will run super rough and won't even want to idle. And you'll know it. The check engine light will probably come on too if that's happening to you. I'm thinking mine is just a minor, either it's not closing all the way or it's getting stuck open sometimes. Alright, so I take a little liquid wrench. I didn't have WD-40. I like liquid wrench too. That's should be able to break anything loose that's in there. And then just spin it, sort of open and close it. Now I can really feel it opening and closing a lot better now. It's still getting stuck though, so spinning it around, opening and closing it. And I'm going to do this for quite a while. Sometimes I'll even soak it. If it was really bad in the past, I would soak it overnight just to make sure it breaks everything loose. But now that's some good action right there, some good EGR action. So hopefully we can not just sneak by the emissions test, but actually be blowing clean air for another couple of years. So I do love having the van. They said they'd pay me $450 for the Junkman if I can drive it to him, $350 if he has to come tow it away. If I sold it to a private party, I could get $750 for it, but I'd much rather keep it because it's so handy. You never know when your scooters are going to break down either. Actually, that one's been reliable. Never had to tow it. Anyway, I'm going to keep doing this for an extremely boring amount of time, and then I'll put it back on and we'll see if it runs. Alright, EGR valve back in place. Tighten down the 2 bolts on either side. Remembering to plug in the electrics after I'm all done. Don't do that and it definitely won't run right. And just replace the cap, the distributor cap, which I removed for convenience purposes. Remembering, of course, to reconnect the center wire, which I had to remove to get it off in the first place. Make sure none of these came undone while I was doing that. Then screw down the distributor cap, and start it up and take it for a ride and hope that everything is better. Go over to my local emissions place and get another 2 years of legal van use before I give up on it. I'll probably never give up on it though. Such a practical vehicle when it's working right, and so cheap to fix when it's not. The other bonus of driving a van is that you always have the right of way. Everybody's afraid of you if it's this is an old one and the paint's peeling off, so people either think you're going to kidnap them or they think you're an illegal alien with no auto insurance, and they get out of your way. So you have the right of way in every driving situation when you're driving this thing. Unless you come across another van, then it's van versus van, and anybody's, whoever's the scariest person wins that battle. So I hope this helped. If your van is running rough, try the EGR valve. It's cheap, easy, free to take a look at it and try to clean it out, and it usually makes a good difference.